Let's discuss the position of actual neutral axis with respect to critical neutral axis and failure condition in under reinforced section, balance section and over reinforced section. Let us start with the balance section. Suppose the stresses in concrete are represented in upper zone and stresses in steel are represented in lower zone. The stresses in concrete, let's say sigma C or sigma CBC, and stresses in steel, those are sigma ST or sigma S. In terms of balance section, the maximum permissible stresses in concrete and maximal permissible stresses in steel will reach their maximum permissible limit simultaneously. So this will be the failure condition where the stresses in concrete and stresses in steel will reach their maximum value simultaneously. So here the actual neutral axis and critical neutral axis both will coincide with each other. So actual neutral axis that will be equal to the critical neutral axis. In terms of under reinforced section, the stresses in concrete will not reach their maximum permissible value, but the stresses in steel, that is sigma ST, will reach their maximum permissible limit before concrete. So the failure plane will go like this, and here this will be the actual neutral axis, let us say XA, and here actual neutral axis will be shorter or lesser than the critical neutral axis. Here the stresses in steel are reaching their maximum permissible limit before the concrete. Exactly reverse is over reinforced section, where the maximum permissible stresses are reaching their permissible limit in concrete first, that is sigma C, and maximum permissible stresses in steel. So this will be the failure plane and this will be your actual neutral axis. So here actual neutral axis will be greater than or lower than the critical neutral axis. Now let us try to understand the failure condition. In terms of under reinforced section, as the actual neutral axis is over and steel stresses in steel are reaching their maximum limit first, so this failure will be steel failure, and as we all know, steel is ductile in nature, so this failure will be known as ductile failure. In terms of over reinforced section, the max stresses in concrete will be reaching their maximum permissible limit first, so this will be concrete failure, and as we all know, concrete is brittle in nature, that's why this will be the brittle failure. Now if we compare these both, that under reinforced section and over reinforced section, for safety purpose we always prefer under reinforced section, that is ductile